Hey there, this is Shelly Jensen. It's time to get real again. We're going to talk about real parenting, the fact that you are a real parent, you have real limitations and real needs, and you're not alone in your community. I hope that you've begun to form your vision. I hope that you've begun to reach out to community and get your support system going. I'm going to encourage you to continue on that track and look at your vision and review it and assess it. See if you have some new things that you would add or things that you found that need to be pruned out. And I'm hoping today that in honor of Mother's Day in May, Father's Day in June, celebrate the fact that you get to be involved in molding a life and a child. And this is one of I feel, the most significant things that we can do as people is to be influential in the life of a child, changing the world one child at a time. Their worldview is molded by you and your actions. And I would challenge you today, one of the things close to my heart that I feel like is very important is to speak truth to your child, to mirror what is in reality to your child, not give them just fantasy or just fanciful things that aren't anchored in reality, while the whole world around us is full and it's fun of fantasy and make-believe and the games that we play. Of course, there's a place in the life of a child, all of that. But whenever they come to you with hard questions, and they will, I think, usually 3, 4, 5-year-olds begin to understand death, they begin to understand what comes after, they begin to question what's next, they begin to ask about what happens to the animals they see die, or maybe the children that they know that get sick, or if they have a loved one, a grandparent, or someone they know die, what happens in the afterworld, what happens in the afterlife. I feel like if you have strong held beliefs and you believe in a certain worldview, that you have an obligation to be truthful and honest with your child to the best of your ability and what you know, and not to just sugarcoat things and give an easy, avoidant answer. A lot of kids, I think, are very frustrated, and they're looking for substance, and they're looking for real conversation with their parents. Sometimes we can dismiss our children and the search they have for answers, the search they have for things that are naturally part of life and death and that cycle that we see, the hard things and the grief and the loss. And sometimes we just have to circle around and say, this is the sad part. This is, the goodbyes, I personally have a Christian worldview, so I do believe in an afterlife, and I do believe that Jesus is with me all of the time, and I do believe that He hears my prayers, and I do believe that He looks after my children, and I do believe that He meets my needs, and I do believe that He has a plan and a vision for me, and I do believe that He's the perfect parent. And whether, you're looking at all of the things that He provides, is a role model that I can look to. And so I, as a parent, have passed on a certain amount of security and certainty, I believe, to my children, and that I know in my heart that there is something beyond myself that I can depend on. And even whenever I'm dismayed or distressed, I can still have peace, and I can still have faith and joy and peace and get through hard times. And so this is an important spiritual need that your kid has, to be able to come to you and ask hard questions and get your answers, get your honest answers. And maybe you honestly have a different belief, and you honestly have more questions, and you're like, well, I don't know for sure, or maybe I don't have the answers, maybe I don't believe anyone does. But you can be honest with your child, and you can have a conversation about those bigger things that are beyond this life and this world as we know it. And I think that's a very important connection to make. Your child needs to know that you're available, and they also need to understand what is that they are witnessing in their life and that they see is real. You need to validate and to verify that yes, you know, we see babies die. We also see people pass on as they're older or sick. And these harder questions, like so many that come up controversial subjects, they're going to come to you and explore them. And I hope that you would do that with them and be as honest and humble and open as you can be, and expect them as 3 and 4 and 5, 6-year-olds to do that and ask you these harder questions. And until I guess, usually I think that children make their life decisions between 10 and 12. I think they make the majority of their life decisions of who they're going to be, what they think is acceptable behavior, who they have a vision of themselves to be and become, and what they expect of themselves. I believe maybe not completely, Joe, but a lot of huge decisions are made between 10 and 12. And knowing that whenever your young child that you might really feel is just not ready for some of these topics comes to you and talks to you about them and opens the door to you, I would hope that you would just sit in with that, and even if you're uncomfortable, just be available and explore that with them and help them, knowing that it's going to be molding who they are and who they decide to be in their journey much later. And these things will affect them for the rest of their lives. So your child is never too young to have a real conversation on really hard topics, especially, and I feel that they do come to you. And where I wouldn't initiate that, I would wait for them to initiate it. I definitely see that young kids do. They have that interest. And wherever they explore, I feel like we should allow them to investigate and allow them to have as honest answers as we can give them. So I hope that's not too heavy, but that's kind of what this channel is about, is getting real about real things. And please leave your comments below if you feel like this has value. Go ahead and share to other parents, please, maybe teachers or grandparents. I really want to see more parents encouraged, and I hope that you've found something good in this channel. And I'd like to see your input here at the bottom. I'm finishing out this series on the basic needs of kids, and I hope that you would give me some ideas of future videos that you would like to see touching base on any other aspect of taking care of kids, seeing them nurtured, and watching them grow. So until next time, stay real.